This is take 2 and I'm still yawning at the beginning of the video. I swear there is something habitually in me that yawns every time I'm about to speak for a video. Hey folks, Seraph here. And welcome to what would be the start of my series of Yap videos. Life's been a little bit busy as of late, and I haven't quite been able to sit down and record video game playthroughs quite as often, so I'm hoping that these yapping videos will kind of supplement things in between some of my busier days. Now, some of you may be wondering, so what made you want to do this? Well, a little while back I did put out a community post and had some of my watchers, well, if they wanted to, vote on what kind of content that they wanted to see me do. And wouldn't you know it, the bigger portion voted on yapping content. So here I am, figuring out different topics of what to yap about on these videos. I'll try not to keep them... I'll try to keep them short, is what I'm trying to say. Well, short-ish. Not too long. I don't want to have your ear for too long. Maybe some people do, maybe some people don't. But as this is a particularly new format of content for me to try to do, and I don't particularly know how I want to approach it, we'll just wing it for the time being and see what feels correct for me anyway. And this time around, how about we talk a little bit about myself? For starters, hi, I'm Seraph Tears. Yes, that is a very, very old username. I won't be explaining why that username came to me. Maybe another video. But I'm just some jackass on the internet. Okay, self-depreciating humor aside, I pretty much just am just some normal dude on the internet who just happens to have a hobby channel for as far back as since he made it. Now, one little fact about this particular channel, especially to those of you who may actually quite like listening to me talk for some reason. Thank you for that, by the way. Don't know why, but thank you for that. But this definitely was a channel that I made sometime during my younger after high school years. I grew up around the Let's Play era, if those of you are old enough to actually remember, when that was more of a prominent content on YouTube that people liked. And for those of you who wonder, who my very first Let's Player that I actually watched and kind of grew up around watching, that would be Proton John. But that's a topic for another day. Proton John and the Runaway Guys, I did watch a lot of their stuff way back in those days, and I still do sometimes, but nowadays it's primarily VTuber stuff that I watch, and I'll occasionally swing around there and listen to them. They're always funny to watch. With that being said, this channel first came about because of some open time that I had back in those particular days, and like I said, I grew up kind of watching Let's Players and whatnot, as well as playing video games. So I decided, you know what, let's have a little bit of a laugh, and I want to try it too. And that's where this channel came from. I know it sounds pretty silly, but that's kind of how it started. I did a little bit of Let's Playing on the side. A lot of this channel's videos are currently set to either private or unlisted, one or the other. Because when I got back into doing video content again around last year, approaching the holiday season, I wanted to focus on a very particular kind of goal this time around. Again, this channel was very old, so I always just kind of winged it and didn't really care too much about what I was focusing on or why. When I got back into it after my girlfriend decided, you know, you really could do something with this if you really actually wanted to. And I'm like, yeah, but that's effort. So a couple months worth of gentle pushing from her end, and here I am. Months later, I still seem to be finding a little bit of enjoyment. Actually, a fair bit of enjoyment. Just going through these motions and doing small side projects that actually make me want to learn more editing. And that's kind of the main goal of this. So when I got back into this channel, I just looked through all of my old content and said, oof. Oof. I gotta cringe at myself. I know it sounds very depreciating, but follow me here for a minute. That's kind of what I thought. I'm like, oof, okay, you know what, if I'm going to turn over a little bit of a new leaf, I really should get rid of this. But it's also old history to me. Because when I look back at a lot of these old videos and a lot of these old playthroughs I did in a Let's Play format, I could see myself in very different phases of my life. For example, let's see. I know which particular phase... Oh, no, wait, no. That's a little bit too personal. I won't talk about that right here. Family-related stuff. But, bottom line is, every time I look back at different videos of myself, I can remember roundabout what part of my life that was and how old I was in those days. So it kind of made me cringe. However, I did leave a lot of the old Toho videos for, you know, Toho indies that I played around that time frame. So if you're curious of how much of a freaking greenhorn the younger Seraph was, well, you're free to look at it, feel free to laugh, don't expect anything major. Now, for a lot of those Toho indie games that I do happen to have that are extremely old, would I be willing to do those again? Yeah, actually, some of those were pretty fun, so I probably wouldn't mind revisiting them and just replaying it again for fun. But so as I've already played them once on this channel, I've decided, okay, let's focus on, you know, knocking down the rest of my backlog ever so slightly, which just so happens to be a good portion of Toho indie games. So here we are. So now that you know a little bit of this channel's history, I'm gonna go ahead and mention, well, further on what I'm still more or less doing here. This is just a hobby channel. I don't have a structure of anything. Heck, I don't even have a structure of when I stream. Life and family keeps me rather busy. So unfortunately, I'm going to stream every, say, Saturday or Friday that I tried to do earlier at the beginning of this year fell through the floor for now. Family, unfortunately, keeps me quite busy, and caregiving, unfortunately, does keep me quite busy and on my toes. So I can only spare a little bit of time on the side. On certain days. Although some days better than others, but you probably understand the idea of what I mean. I need to be able to get up and down off my desk on a dime. So streaming, not quite something I can do as frequently as I'd like. Sorry. Especially for those of you who are curious to see more of that. But maybe one day, when things get a little bit more ironed out as far as life goes. But for now, I'm just kind of firing from the hip and making sure things are alright on my end before I do anything for my hobby. And again, it's a little bit impressive. Yeah, I swear I can English. Impressive. Because even my girlfriend knows, my habits for uploading and doing things for my hobby channel is spotty at best because of the fact that I like to just go on a whim, essentially, and just fire from the hip. So, fact that even a couple months later, I'm still at least uploading something once or twice in a week is actually kind of funny, because how old is this channel? That's really the best way I can describe it. How old is this channel and account? And, well, I'm still going, apparently. But that's probably because I'm just enjoying it. I don't mind it quite as much. For now, I will kind of still do this channel the way I always have. It's on a whim, and when I happen to have the time to upload and, you know, do the editing I want to, I'll try to have at least one or maybe two main video projects as far as games that I'm playing through to kill off from my video game log. You know you're a genuine video gamer when you've got a bigger backlog than you actually have time to finish. I'm slowly picking away at it. It's fine. Eventually I'll finish it right. Maybe not. We'll see. But I'll slowly do that, and that'll be sort of the main bread and butter of my particular channel, as it always has been. And hopefully that gives me more little bit of editing practice as well. Outside of that, I will try to see if I can, when the idea hits me, because I did kind of enjoy making some shorts as well, like the Satisfactory comedy shorts I did a little while ago. Simplistic and a little bit difficult to deliver scripted lines in a tone other than monotone in my case, but hey, I quite enjoyed those short projects. They were enjoyable. I would love to do more of those again, so maybe I'll think about it. But other than main video game playthrough stuff, the only other things you'll probably see from me on this channel when I happen to upload anything will either be specific projects that I think will be nice for me to, you know, get some editing in. So shorts that might be video game related, more often than not. Or they'll end up being clips from streams or other videos. Let's see, what else is there? I've done 2 VTuber clip compilations so far, in a rather comedic fashion, not like a traditional clip compilation for VTubers. And I'm not gonna lie, even though I've done 2 so far, one for Crimson Ruse and one for Randoneering, I kind of sort of honestly want to do more and keep challenging my editing, just to see if I can script out something funny with that same satisfactory having a back and forth with Ada formula, but also being informative to you, my watchers, about the kinds of different VTubers I like to watch every now and again throughout the week. So this is where the conundrum happens for me. The first 2 I did are fairly easy, because they're male VTubers. It's fine. I know even if anybody from those communities happen to find them, or even the VTuber themselves, they're chill, funny dudes. They'll take it with good humor, and with like the very worst I would ever have to worry about is taking a comedic jab right back in the face, and I'd be happy, honestly. That's just kind of how dudes are. But that's male VTubers. Female VTubers that I watch that I would love to do a comedic clip compilation of, that's a little tricky. Not in the sense that, what's the word I'm looking for? Not in the sense that I can't do it, more so I need to be a little more thoughtful of how I do the scripting and the presentation and scripting the narrative and how I'm going to, well, what traits about this particular VTuber that I want to show off to you guys, the viewership that happens to have, for some reason, stumbled upon this small channel. I am so sorry you somehow managed to stumble in here, by the way. The exit's right over there. Feel free to punch the YouTube algorithm fairy for me, because the little bastard keeps getting away. That being said, I have to put out that little disclaimer out there, because sometimes even I don't know how people stumble upon my channel. That doesn't mean I'm any less grateful, but I'm a little bit concerned. Yes, that is more me self-depreciating again. Hey, what can I say? I like self-depreciating humor. But I would definitely love to do more VTuber clip compilations of different VTubers I like to watch. I just haven't quite decided who next and how I want to script it. I'm currently stuck on the who first. I've done 2 male VTubers so far as clip compilations and comedy of it. I want to do one for a female VTuber that I like to watch, and most of the VTubers I watch are smaller in size or indie. So now that we get to this, you probably see the conundrum, where I look at this and I go, on one hand, I feel like I'm pretty sure I can script this in a comedic way and still be very, very, you know, thoughtful and educational on how I actually present the VTuber in a thoughtful way, and all their finer points. But will I be perfectly fine uploading something like that? And that's kind of me just dancing with my thoughts again. I should probably note, I have a lot of funny and stupid video ideas that I like to just note down in my notepad every single day of the week, and half the time I look at these notes a day or 2 later and I'm like, I don't know, am I willing to put up with anything that might arise as a result of me doing this? And this is only for VTuber-related clip videos. I already know the general history of VTuber clipping and the problems that people always talk about. I know I'll never run into that, because I'm not clipping in that fashion anyway. When I make VTuber clips, compilations, my main goal is to not only show you the particular VTuber in question that I do happen to watch, and you'll probably see me in their chat if you actually looked at them, but also to just present this VTuber in a comedic fashion. That way, if for whatever reason people of that fandom do happen to magically see that, because for some reason the YouTube algorithm fairy seems to like pestering me, it'll be at least a little bit of a good laugh for everybody to watch. So I have to ponder that when I do the scripting and think about how I want to accumulate all this information together. So for male VTubers, it's easy, honestly. I could probably go on and on for any male VTubers I watch. That's easy. Female VTubers, on the other hand, I have to be a little more thoughtful about that. So I feel like the VTuber clip compilation thing is going to be a little bit of a long-winded one for me. Like, it won't be as frequent, unfortunately, because of how long I end up having to think about these things. I have, for those of you who may be curious though, there are two in particular that I am thinking as far as female VTubers that I do happen to watch, and I find very amusing. I haven't quite settled on which one of the two to do a video of first. So if you happen to have an opinion on this particular topic, do let me know in the comments. Especially if you think, hey dude, you're overthinking about it, shut up, and just do it. Because I know this is a thing that happens to me often, and you're going to hear that a lot. For those of you who've probably been watching me at least enough, since then you probably noticed that I dance with my thoughts too much. And due to that, I know for a fact that I dance with my thoughts too much, and I end up not doing anything. So with a lot of these sideways, not my usual video type projects, like this for example, the yapping video. I've never done yapping videos before in my life, and I've never thought to because, well, I know some people like listening to my voice, but it never occurred to me that people actually wanted to just sit and listen. I figured, okay, you know what, me dumb guy on the internet, me do dumb things on video games, surely that's fine, right? And having a generally very easy enough to listen to voice would be, you know, easy enough. And it is. I quite like it. I enjoy it. But it really, really blindsided me to, even for that small bit of votes, it really blindsided me to notice that, I guess people really, really, really like to just listen to me. So, for how many months later, since that particular poll, I've basically been in the same loop of, where do we go from here? Where do I even go? What do I talk about? So after a while, I talked a little bit about just a handful of topics with my girlfriend, and then eventually she decided, well, these sound good, but you really should just stop overthinking and get your ass in there. So here I am. And that's how I ended up in this particular situation right here, right now, today. To quote from an old cartoon, if those of you are old enough to remember this, the things I do for love. But anyway, there's that. So, let's see. Regular video projects, VTuber clip compilations, shorts is another I definitely want to do. These yapping videos, if people end up liking them and I get a better feel for them and I have a myriad of topics I want to talk about, or if there are any topics that people want me to talk about, and if I think within reason, okay, sure, I like this topic, we can go ahead and talk about it, then I'll consider it, put it on the list, and we'll see where I go from there. So at least that is just kind of my hope for this series of yapping videos. And you probably already noticed it by now, but I'm not immediately playing the video game that's playing in the background as I'm talking here. I've just done the basic bitch version of doing this. Record my audio separately, slapped on some video game gameplay in the back because, well, that's what people voted for. And I'll try to either mute the video game gameplay or not to make it too loud. That way you can still hear me clearly in the middle of it all. Because even I'm not too sure which game I'm going to be using yet, but I've got a few ideas that would be a very fun watch in between while listening to me yap on like an insidious old man. Sorry. But that's just kind of how I am. You guys already know how I sound and talk formally in my actual videos. So when it comes to these particular yapping video series, where I just sit around and muse over a topic, either one I want to talk to or something that's been suggested maybe from one of my watchers, you're going to be hearing a more laid-back version of me here. Like, I'm going to, like, I'm sorry for those of you who like my more formal mannerisms and the way I talk, but when I'm actually relaxed and just sitting and talking, I'm going to stance myself the exact same way any local Hawaiian man born and raised in the Hawaiian Islands is going to stance themselves. I'm just gonna lean back on my chair, let the belly hang out, and just talk like an idiot. That's just the mannerism. So, hope you don't mind, at least for these yapping videos, I'm more informal rather than my formal dumbass self in every other video. Other than that, I believe for now that just about covers most of the topics I wanted to talk about here for this first video. I don't want to have it too lengthy of a video or anything, but just enough to where I at least cover the topic and you guys got to know a little bit more about me and this channel's history and what I'm going to be doing from this point on, for the most part, and just kind of what I'm thinking, a little bit of a peek behind the curtain, so to speak. No, not literally, metaphorically. But that being said, we'll leave that off right here. So for those of you who do happen to like listening to me talk and just would like to hear more, do let me know in the comments. And not necessarily just yes or no, more along the lines of what sorts of things you'd like me to talk about. Because I'll be honest with you, if you leave it up to just me, most of my topics are going to either be counting under, let's see, video game related topics, maybe some funny life stories topics. Ooh, I've got quite a few I would love to share to you guys, but I'm going to keep those into separate videos. And probably me gushing on about VTubers, which is probably going to be a silly thing for you to listen to, considering I know I do want to do VTuber compilation videos, so I don't know if I want to do both or just stick it to just the compilations only. But I also don't mind separate yapping videos where I just talk about VTubers for a couple minutes, because why not? In fact, the next video after this one for yapping is going to be VTuber related, but you guys will see that later whenever I finish that. So, till then, you folks have a good day. Let me know if there are any topics that you probably want me to consider musing over and talking about. I make no promises that I'll cover it, because I have to be reasonable about this. This is a small... Okay, I'm just gonna use the Hawaiian version of me saying this. This is a small Boto channel, so I gotta be reasonable about it, okay? I can't go spouting my mouth off all the time. I mean, I'm part Hawaiian. I'm a local boy. I can spout my mouth off all I want and not give a damn, but there is a bit of a limit. But if you happen to have a thought and you're feeling a little bit cheeky, do let me know. Other than that, you folks have a good day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. You have a good day.